Hi, Dave Hill here. Welcome to the lesson. I want you to check out a few things we're going to talk about today. I'm just going to play them first before we talk about them with too much more detail. Check this out. Okay, so what's the common denominator to everything I just played right there? You're right, open strings. I pretty much used open strings in every lick that I played there in some capacity. And that's what's so great about the guitar. You've got the capability of fretting notes and then adding open strings in the middle of a phrase just because it sounds different and it gives your playing a different kind of a color. And this open strings ring certainly longer than the fretted notes, and you can let those ring and kind of get the piano sort of sound that we can't always achieve on the guitar, right? So this last thing that I played for, as an example, was a good example of that. It's kind of a harp effect almost, if you will, right? Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today, and it's a very common thing in the guitar, especially in certain keys that work really well with open strings. Okay, so when I was first jamming a little bit, I was playing a lot of things that were in the key of G. The key of G works particularly well because obviously there's open notes on the guitar that are in the key of G. There's the open G, the B, and the E, and those are all diatonic notes to the key of G, as well as the A, or rather the D, and the open A, right? So basically, you've got a lot of notes in the key of G there. They're all in the key of G. So the simplest little thing will just come alive in the key of G. If you do something as simple as this, right? Listen to how that sounds great in the key of G. Now it's a little hard to bend there, but you can do it if you practice it. It's just a whole step. Right? So that open string is available. The open G is available. So sometimes I like to play from the B flat and pull down to the walk through the A. So you can't help but notice there's a certain kind of a country sound to what I'm playing, right? It's because I'm playing a major pentatonic sound right there, and I'm just using the open strings to pull off where they work out in the key of G. Right? So pretty much every note that you fret right here, you can pull off to an open note in the key of G pentatonic. Right? So it's like the G major pentatonic is basically like you were playing. Every note would be right below it here, below the nut. Right? So that makes it perfect for a lot of licks in the key of G, right? Isn't that cool? And then if you combine some of those open strings with some of the minor pentatonic notes, you get blues sounds in there too. Isn't that cool? Now we've got the B flat from the minor pentatonic. Right? Oops. Listen to how cool that sounds. So here's the minor pentatonic sounds mixed with the major pentatonic. Right? That's a lot of fun. Now that doesn't mean that G is the only key that you can play open strings in. I'm just showing you this at first because it makes a lot of sense, because you can see how it fits against an open G chord. Okay? You can fit a lot of this same vocabulary in the key of E. Now the reason it would fit in the key of E is because a couple of things. First of all, it could be E minor, right? Because E minor is the relative minor of G major, and we know how that works now, right? So if I'm playing this, if I played E, it's going to sound just as good. But remember, we can also play it over a dominant chord too, because we can play minor pentatonic notes, and this is E minor or G major, but let's call it E minor now. Right? But you can play it over a dominant chord. So that gives you a lot of other blues stuff you can play. Right, so if I were playing a blues progression, it's really kind of fun to have those notes. Available. Okay, so you might have realized by now that some of the techniques I'm using to play these phrases, these open string phrases, are also enhanced by my right hand technique. Okay, and what I mean is I'm basically pulling off with my fingers here of my right hand while I'm also picking with my right hand. I'm using a hybrid technique, and I'm going to go into these kind of right hand techniques a little bit more in other lessons, but I just want to show you that it's kind of part of the secret as well. So when I'm doing this lick down here, let's say, let's turn that off there. I mean, I could also just play with my pick, but I like the sound of the snapped strings here, so I like to pull off, right, with this second finger, and then I pick the D string with my pick. So that you might want to check that out. You might want to practice those kind of things, or just examine what I'm doing right here to kind of see how it works. But it really helps out a lot. It's like giving you extra picks on your right hand. Right, and if you get all three fingers, that really helps out too. I kind of use mostly two of them together, but you know, you can actually get three in there as well. Okay, so I'll be showing you some of this stuff in greater detail in later lessons, but I'm just going to tell you that that's how I'm doing some of it. Okay, so let's jam a little bit in this, and I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay, here we go.